What's good, my friends and fans of all things awesome? Welcome back to part 2 of BatRanger Returns. The return of my channel after a couple-month hiatus. Today's a special episode for me. I'm calling it BatRanger Forever because we get to take a look at a pop that I've been waiting a very long time to come out. It is another pop from the Batman 80th Anniversary series. And it is none other than the Val Kilmer Batman from Batman Forever in 1995. You guys, this movie gets a bad rap just because Joel Schumacher was the director, who happened to be the same director of Batman and Robin, which is a toy commercial at best. So this movie gets treated unfairly, I think, because people lob this movie in with Batman and Robin, and that's just not fair. You gotta take this movie on its own terms, and it's probably better than you remember. Keep in mind that when I talk about this movie, there is a difference between favorite movie and best. So bear that in mind. Batman Forever may be my favorite Batman movie, but I'm not saying it's the best. The best for me would probably be The Dark Knight. But I love this movie mostly because of the memories I have of it. I was 6 years old when this movie came out, and because Batman Returns was so dark, this was actually the first movie that my parents would let me see in theaters, and it rocked my world. It was probably, like, besides the Adam West Batman, this was my first exposure to, like, an actual live-action Batman on the screen, and it is probably the reason why I'm such a big Batman fan today. I am a huge fan of this movie, so much so that before we open this up, I wanted to show you guys a few of the other just Batman Forever related things that I have here. Obviously, I have the movie, Batman Forever, on DVD. This actually being one of the few movies that I have purchased twice, because I had to have it on Blu-ray. This, of course, having the Blu-ray and the 4K Ultra edition included. And at one point, I even owned this movie on VHS. I don't know where that is now, but I do at least have it on DVD and Blu-ray / 4K Ultra HD. And I even have the soundtrack on cassette tape. And one of the cool things about this miniature package here, besides having awesome music on it by U2 and Seal, is the fact that it has all of the promotional pieces of artwork that were in theaters at the time. It's got a bunch of the artists and stuff listed there. Great music from the 90s. But that's just awesome artwork. I get very nostalgic when I look at these. There were few things more magical than this movie when you're a 6-year-old Batman fan. So that was another cool little piece to have in my Batman Forever collection, but also one of the coolest pieces I have here. And don't tell me where it came from because this was a gift and I don't actually know for sure, but I have Val Kilmer's autograph framed here in one of those official, like, lithograph photographs or whatever from the movie, signed by Batman himself, Val Kilmer. So without further ado, now that we've taken a look at some of my Batman Forever related swag, let's get the pop out of the box.
A few moments later.
Here he is. Val Kilmer's Batman from Batman Forever, complete with the little riddle from the Riddler. Guys, despite, you know, the infamous nipples on the Batsuit, I actually think this is a pretty cool Batsuit. I love the Bat emblem that kind of connects the two ends of the cape there, but it's a little bit higher, a little bit darker. The belt also looks pretty cool. I also just love in this movie that it's not featured on the pop here, but I love that the batarangs that he uses are just, like, huge. These, like, giant things that he folds out before he throws them. A lot of detail work here on the cape, that it's curved and kind of moving in the wind there. You can even see the spikes on his gauntlets. It's just really, really cool detailing. around the eyes too. You can see the raised brows, you can see the indent where the mask ends and kind of the eye makeup around the eyes begins. So just a really cool pop, does the character justice. And I know everyone likes to give Joel Schumacher some grief regarding the nipples on the batsuit. I'm not going to say that that's not undeserved, because in hindsight, it is pretty strange. Frankly, it's just something I didn't notice as a 6-year-old when the movie came out. But I have, because I am such a big fan of the movie, I've watched some director commentaries. And one of the ways that he's put it is, and he's not the first kind of filmmaker or fan of comic books to make this connection either, but superheroes of today are kind of like treated the way that Greek gods were in ancient times, in the heroes of ancient myth. And so he kind of tried to create a bat suit that looks like the statues that were created of some of those ancient heroes. And so when I heard that explanation, I was a little more forgiving of it. Again, to me, there's no excuse for how Batman and Robin turned out. But I would challenge you to give Batman Forever a second go. It is by no means a perfect movie. It just happens to be one that's very nostalgic to me. I think it still holds up if you're a fan of Batman. And I am really happy with how this pop turned out. Don't forget to check out my previous video. I'll leave a link somewhere up here, because you need to comment on that video in order to be entered in for our giveaway to win a copy of my latest album, which I just released. I don't want anyone to feel deceived or anything. This is a, full disclosure, it is a faith-based album. But if you're a fan of rock music, there is something in here for you. So if that's something that you're still interested in winning, leave a comment on my last video, #BatRanger rocks, and I will send the winner of those comments. One will be randomly chosen to win that album on CD, that album on cassette, just as a cool art piece, and some cool pinback buttons that I created with some of my original art. Thank you guys again so much for tuning in to this BatRanger D video. As always, keep it real and remember that being cool means being kind. See you guys in the next video.
It's the car, right? Chicks love the car.